So first of all, this song, Parama Karuna, is personally very, very dear to me. First of all, I love this bhajan very much. I don't know who selected it or why, but this is fantastic. I love speaking on this bhajan. And the main reason why this bhajan is so important to me is because Prabhupada came to Atlanta on February 28, 1975. At that time, I was a brahmachari. And so when Prabhupada arrived in the temple mid-morning, he sat down on the Vyasasana, and I was sitting right up in front, close to Prabhupada. And this is exactly what Prabhupada said at that time, because it's in the tape transcripts of the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. This is what Prabhupada said that morning. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very kind. Parama Karuna Pahun Dvijana. Two lords, Nitai Gaurachandra, Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are very kind, you see. Now in that temple, at that time, the main deities were Gaur-Nitai. And Prabhupada's Vyasasana was at the other end of the temple. So Prabhupada is speaking and looking directly at the altar. And the temple is full. Mostly it's brahmacharis, book distributors, from the famous Radha Damodar party. I was, at that time, part of New York Temple and traveling around, so I happened to wind up there. So the temple room is full, mostly of brahmacharis. So Prabhupada continues to speak. They are very kind, you see. They have appeared just to reclaim the fallen souls of this age. So they are more kind than Krishna. Krishna, he is also very kind. He comes to deliver. But Krishna demands that first of all you surrender. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not even demand surrender. He is so kind. And at that moment, Prabhupada's voice chokes up. And he says, practically, almost he's crying, so take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and be happy. And Prabhupada starts to cry. And the whole temple room, you can hear a pin drop. Nobody knows what to do, because Prabhupada says, thank you very much, as he's crying. And then that's the end of the lecture. And Prabhupada leaves. So we were all young devotees maybe 2-3 years. Myself, I had been a devotee for 2 years. Nobody knew what to do. It was like, what was this? So the senior devotees made an announcement sometime later that Prabhupada would come in the evening and he would sing this song, Parama Karuna, and he would explain it. So the instruction was everyone had to learn the song. So in the evening, Prabhupada again sat in the temple, and they also had a big reel-to-reel tape recorder. So Prabhupada sang the song with kartals. And even though that was 1975, I never forgot the melody that Prabhupada sang. And for some reason, there's no recording of that song. I have all of Prabhupada's recordings of what he sang, Kirtan and Bhajan, which I listen to every day. But there's no copy of this song. But still, I remember the tune that Prabhupada sang. So Prabhupada first sang the song with kartals. And because it was recorded on a reel-to-reel tape recorder, after Prabhupada sang it with kartals, they put a microphone by the speaker of the tape recorder, and Prabhupada asked, "Bring me mridanga." And then Prabhupada recorded a mridanga on top of the recording, and everybody was amazed at how great a musician Prabhupada was. And then Prabhupada gave a lecture. So it was a very, very special occasion to see Prabhupada cry, to see Prabhupada play mridanga. And some of the senior devotees said, this is actually very, very rare. Prabhupada did not show ecstatic symptoms very often, especially in public. And that he played mridanga and made a recording, they said this was very, very special. So now I'm going to sing the song as Prabhupada himself sang it. And then I will explain. Parama Karuna Papudwijana Nitai Gora Chandra Parama Karuna Papudwijana Nitai Gora Chandra Shava Avatar Sarashiramani Kevalananda Kanda Shabavatar Sarashiramani Kevalananda Kanda Bhaja Bhaja Bhai Chaitanya Nita Sudridha Vishwasa Kori Bhaja Bhaja Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudridha Vishwasa Kori Vishaya Chadiya Se Rashe Majiya Muke Bolo Hari Hari Vishaya Chadiya Shri Rase Majiya Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari Dekho re bai Tribhuvane nai Emona Doyala Data Dekore by Tribhuvane nai Emona Doyala Data Pashu Pakhi Jure Pashana Vidnare Shuni Jar Gunagata Pashu Paki Jure Pashana Vidare Shuni Jara Gunagata Sangsare Majia Rohili Poriya Sepade Nahilo Asha Sangsare Majia Rohili Pariya Sepade Nahilo Asha Apana Karama Gunjaye Shamana Kohaye Lochana Dasha Apana Karama Gunjaye Shamana Kohaye Lochana Dasa Parama Karuna Pahundui Jana Nitai Goda Chandra Shaba Avatar Sarashiromani Kevalananda Kanda Parama Karuna Pahundui Jana Nitai Gora Chandra Parama Karuna Pahundui Jana Nitai Gora Chandra. So many years ago, I read a letter that Prabhupada wrote to one of his disciples. And Prabhupada in that letter said that if you look at the synonyms, the word for word meanings, you can get so much inspiration to speak. So that is what I'm going to do. I've done that a lot since reading that letter, and it has really helped my preaching tremendously. So let's go word by word. Parama Karuna, supremely merciful. So we all know that Krishna is Karuna Sindhu, ocean of mercy. But there is Parama Karuna, supremely merciful, as I read Prabhupada's opening words. Krishna, he makes a demand. First of all, you surrender, and then I will deliver you. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja ahang tvang sarva papebhyo mokshayishami ma suchaha. The concluding instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that give up all your concocted religion, what you think is good and bad and moral and just. Give it up and just simply surrender to me. Ekam, exclusively. Take exclusive shelter of me. Then what does Krishna say? I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. If we surrender, he uses the word moksha yashyami. I will do that. But he says, ma shuchaha. And Prabhupada explains the three meanings of ma shuchaha. Don't worry. Don't hesitate. Don't fear. We should immediately surrender to Krishna. Here you see behind me the screen, the Panchatattva. They are different from Krishna. If you read the Adi Leela, chapter 7, the beginning section, that chapter is very nice, big, lots of information. So the first part of that chapter is all about the Panchatattva. And what do we learn? They made no discrimination, the Panchatattva. They didn't care whether somebody was qualified or not qualified, whether somebody was pious or impious. They made no distinction. They plundered the storehouse of love of Godhead and distributed it freely. And they became intoxicated by distributing love of God. And our ISKCON movement follows in that principle. When we go out to preach, when we go out to distribute books, we don't discriminate. Everybody should get an opportunity to get in touch with Krishna's mercy. When we do the Ratha Yatra, we give the mercy to everyone. Here in Los Angeles, this is where I'm coming from, we do Ratha Yatra, and we're doing it on the boardwalk of the beach. So people are half naked, we don't care. We give them Krishna's mercy. We give them the books, we give them the prasad. Because this is Jagannath and Chaitanya's mercy. Patita Pavana. So Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, they're more merciful than even Krishna himself. Supremely merciful. Nitai Gaura Chandra, Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. Now, the next line. Shaba Avatar, Sar Shiromani. Sar, they are the essence. What are the essence? Of all the incarnations. We learn from Krishna book that when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, all the there are 6 kinds of incarnations. All the incarnations were in the body of Krishna. And we learn from Srila Prabhupada that when Krishna had to kill the demons, it was the Vishnu or Narayan portion of Krishna. So, all the incarnations of Krishna were there in the body of Krishna. And the same is true with Lord Chaitanya. All the incarnations are in the body of Lord Chaitanya, because one time Prabhupada asked his disciples, so who is Lord Chaitanya? And someone said, incarnation of Krishna. And Prabhupada said, no. He's not incarnation of Krishna. He is Krishna. Prabhupada wanted to point that out. So as it says here, Saba Avatar, Sara, and not only are they the essence, Shiromani, the crown jewel, the topmost of all the manifestations of Krishna. Therefore, we have this in so many ISKCON temples, Gaur Nitai, if not every ISKCON temple, Gaur Nitai. Just to emphasize this point, that Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, they are the crown jewel, the essence of all incarnations. As I said, there are 6 kinds. Yuga avatars, Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, Guna avatars, Shakti Avesh avatars, Leela avatars, 6 kinds. Doesn't matter. Chaitanya and Nityananda, they are the essence and crown jewels. Now the last line of the first verse. Kevala Ananda Kanda. Their process of self-realization is simply blissful. Ananda. What a beautiful word. Ananda. Ananda is different from Sukha. Everybody knows the word Sukha. Sukha dukkha. Happiness and distress. Ananda is a different word. Because we learn from Bhagavad Gita 3 kinds of Sukha. Sukha in the mode of ignorance, or in the mode of passion, or in the mode of goodness. But regardless, Bhagavad Gita teaches happiness either in the modes of nature has a beginning, middle, and an end. It's not permanent. But Ananda is different, and material happiness is limited and temporary. Ananda is different. Ananda means eternal, ever-increasing happiness. That's a whole different thing. We put our money in an account or an investment, right? But it's not ever-increasing. The stock market goes up and goes down, up and down, up and down. People sometimes freak out. Oh my God, my 401k. That's because it's material. Ananda is not like that. Ever increasing return on investment. It's increasing unlimited. That's Ananda. So what is the process of Lord Chaitanya? And this is why This is why I joined this movement. For the past so many years, 30 years, I would say pretty much my preaching has been with Indians. 95% of my preaching since 1994 is pretty much only with Indian people. Therefore, I am also Indian, because in my body, I have eaten in so many people's homes. Many families have accepted me as one of their families. So and most of my friends are Indians. I have more Indian friends than I have American friends. So, here's the point, that I did not join a Hindu religion. Sometimes they go, what? Yes, I tell them, I did not join a Hindu religion. Krishna consciousness is not Hindu. What is the movement I joined? Lord Chaitanya's movement. Lord Chaitanya's movement is chanting, dancing, feasting. That's the movement I joined. That's my religion. Glorifying the holy name, fame, form, pastimes of Krishna. Krishna is not Hindu. The sun in the sky, it doesn't belong to America or China or Russia. The sun is for everyone. So the same way, Krishna is not just a Hindu god. Krishna is all attractive. Krishna is for everyone. Everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. We're all part of Krishna's family. Some of us accept it, some of us do not. But we learn from Bhagavad Gita, Mamai Vangso Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We're all part and parcel of Krishna. That's it. So Krishna, all attractive. So, what is this philosophy of Lord Chaitanya? Chant, glorify, describe, worship Krishna. Dance out of ecstasy. And when you get tired, take some nice prasad. Yes. Without prasad, I would not join this movement. The first time I had prasad in the temple, Brooklyn Temple, 1973, they gave me a little bit of shock. As soon as they just gave me a little bit, like a palmful. I slurped that up, I jumped up, give me more, give me more. They said, no, you got to come back tomorrow. I decided I cannot get this food anywhere in New York. I must come to this temple. So I would come for the food. It was such wonderful experience. I still remember that first Mahaprasad. Such an amazing experience. I'll never forget it. So chanting, dancing, feasting. And of course we have our sublime philosophy. That's the religion I joined. That's Lord Chaitanya's program. Now we go to the next verse. Bhajo bhajo bai, Chaitanya nitai, sudridda vishvasa kori. The author of this song, Lochandas Thakur, Prabhupada says, is almost a contemporary of Lord Chaitanya. And he's saying, bhajo bhajo, just worship, just serve, and bye. Oh, brothers, yes, as I said, we're all part and parcel of Krishna. So we're all brothers and sisters. Group hug. Group hug. We're all part of the same family. Sudrida Vishvasa Kori. Yes, you should engage in Lord Chaitanya's movement with firm faith. Firm faith. How do you get that firm faith? Associating with nice devotees. All of us who joined Prabhupada's movement in the beginning, we joined because of Prabhupada. We saw Prabhupada, we heard Prabhupada, we read Prabhupada, and his example, it was his example that convinced us. we saw that Prabhupada was doing everything he was telling us to do. That is the meaning of Acharya. One who teaches, not just blah, 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 and then goes off and does something different. No, what he was preaching, he was also doing himself. We saw it. That's how Prabhupada convinced us, showing him by his personal example. So we got faith by hearing and seeing and serving Prabhupada. Faith is the beginning. You get faith by associating with devotees. Just like I see, you have a nice group here. How many? 30 people have joined just now? You have a nice group. This is very good. Because by staying in association, your own faith, you'll increase somebody else's faith, and your faith will also increase. That's why Prabhupada created international society. Because Prabhupada knew on our own, you're not going to make any advancement. You need the association of other devotees. Now that the temples are all closed, now it's all Zoom association. But still, that's good. At least we get to associate. And I do so many of these Zoom programs. It's like I'm right there in your homes. I see you, unless some people, they don't turn on their video. And I feel like I'm talking to the impersonal Brahman. Everybody should turn on their video so I can have your association. Don't cheat me. I want to see your lotus face. Come on. Give me your association. I'm a devotee like you. I need your association. Take my association. So reveal your true form. Don't hide behind some name. So we need to get firm faith in Krishna consciousness, and we get that by associating with devotees. Now the next part. Dishaya chadiya shera se mojiya muke bolo hari hari. Now here is the hard part. Ah yes. Although it is kevala anandakanda, simply joyful, there is something that is a little difficult. Giving up sense gratification. As Prabhupada used to say, we are not a cheap movement. He doesn't want cheap disciples. So there is some requirements. Give up those 4 pillars of sinful life. That is absolutely necessary if one wants to make spiritual advancement. We break those 4 pillars of sinful life so that we can live on a pure platform. So we have to give up this gross sense gratification. And then you have a mouth, chant, Hari, Hari, Krishna, Ram, Hare. That's all. Once an astrologer came to my house, and my wife made prasad, devotee astrologer, of course. And the devotee astrologer looked at my chart. He turned to my wife and said, your husband is one big mouth. All of his planets are in his mouth. And I said, yes. Because I use my mouth to preach, sing, describe Krishna. And of course, after this program, I will also take prasad. Yes, you can see I don't starve. I'm not a vegan. I don't starve. I take sumptuous prasad. And I use my mouth to preach Krishna consciousness. Krishna gave me this big mouth. Let me use it. Dekore bai tri bhuvane nai. Emona doyahadat. Now the author says, just see, where are you going to find anyone like these two, Nityananda and Chaitanya, within the 3 worlds? He's challenging, you're not going to find anyone comparable to Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. After all, it was Nityananda who delivered Jagai Madai. Lord Chaitanya was ready to kill them. But Nityananda said, no, my Lord, you have to deliver them. So you're not going to find anyone like Nityananda Chaitanya. Pashu pake jure, pashana vidare, shuni jar guna gata. This Nityananda Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are so powerful. What? They give mercy even to the animals. The birds, the cows, they are weeping out of ecstasy. The stones melt just by hearing the qualities of Chaitanya and Nityananda. There's another song, Prabhupada saying, Nitai Gunamani Amar, Nitai Gunamani. It's all describing the wonderful qualities of Nityananda. Nitai Gunamani. So, we all know the story, at least we should know the story, how when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was passing through Jarikanda forest on the way to Vrindavan, and his assistant Balabhadra Bhattacharya became afraid. But then he saw that Lord Chaitanya was splashing water on the elephants and they started to cry. And the tigers and all the animals became peaceful and loving. And Balabhadra was like, what's going on here? So Lord Chaitanya has that potency to even, we also know the story of the dog who followed, who was that? Shivananda Sain, when the party was coming from Navadvip. They would go every year to join Lord Chaitanya for the Ratha Yatra and spend the 4 months of the Chaturmasya season with Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. And one time a dog joined the party. And the dog was there sitting next to Lord Chaitanya, and he was feeding the dog green pulp and coconut pulp and telling the dog, chant Hare Krishna. And the dog was chanting Hare Krishna in dog voice. And the next day the dog went back home, back to Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has that potency. So Prabhupada told us, his disciples, you cannot imitate Lord Chaitanya, but at least you can preach to the Milechas and Yavanas. They have stone-like hearts. They are two-legged animals. At least you can try to convince them to become devotees. So that's what we do. We go out. We chant publicly. We go out and we distribute books. We hold festivals. Give them prasad. For whose benefit? The benefit of the fallen conditioned souls. I was a fallen conditioned soul, but the devotees and Prabhupada delivered me. So how do I begin to repay what Lord Prabhupada did? The way to repay Prabhupada is to go out and give the mercy to someone else. That's the ISKCON multi-marketing program. You get the mercy, and then you give it. Final verse. Sangsare majia rohali padiya she pade nahila asha. Now in this final verse, Lochandas says, I am very unfortunate because somehow or other I am entrapped in materialistic sense gratification. Now, Lochandas is not actually entrapped, but he's taking the humble position, placing himself as if he were a fallen conditioned soul, just to inspire and encourage us. So he says, Apana karama bunjaya shamana Kohoye lochana dasa. He says, somehow or other I have no attraction for the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if I have no attraction, the only reason must be that I am being punished by Yamaraj. So we should wholeheartedly take to this movement of Krishna consciousness. First, we fill ourselves with Krishna consciousness, and then give whatever little Krishna consciousness we have, we then give it to others. If you want to be quickly recognized by Krishna, you go out and give Krishna consciousness to others. Krishna says at the end of Bhagavad Gita, there's no servant more dear to me than that devotee who spreads my message. So if you want to be recognized, noticed by God, very simple. Give whatever little Krishna consciousness you have, give it out. And we learn from that chapter, the Adi Leela, chapter 7, that here is the amazing thing. Say you want to give some charity. Say you have $100 and you want to give some charity to someone. Okay, that's nice. So you give the $100 in charity. Now your account is $100 less, because that's what happens. But unlike that, in the material realm, when you go out and give Krishna consciousness, at the end of the day, your account has doubled. Wouldn't you love that? You have to pay your taxes to the government. Do you come back and get double? No. But in Krishna consciousness, if you have so much Krishna consciousness and you give it all away, when you come home, your account is now doubled. So we are encouraged. Prabhupada wants us to go out and preach. He requested so many times, preach this Krishna consciousness movement. As you are doing this. So I congratulate you. I encourage you. Keep doing it. Try to increase. Never stop. Never stop. Go on. So I'd like to do a little kirtan, and then we'll have questions and answers. Ram Sharan, what do you say? What do you say, Ram Sharan? Little kirtan and then questions and answers? Okay, good. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. I see Shaili is singing along. All blessings on you. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Ram Sharan, I can't see all the people, so can you change the screen? I can only see a few. You have that other screen on. Can you make it so I can see all the people? Is that possible, Prabhuji? Yes, let's see all the people. Not me. I want to see all the... that's better. Now, I'm in such a good mood that before we do questions and answers, I want to sing one of my famous rock songs that I'm very well known for. And then we'll do questions. Yes.
We're all eagerly waiting for that.
Jai. Oh, okay, good.
Let's start.
Yes. Krishna conscious rock. Krishna rock. Okay, this is one of my latest recordings. Let me see if okay, hold on. I hope I have the words here. I don't have anyway, I think I can fake it. So this is a song from the 60s, and I just recently did a new version, so I hope you like it. When the night has come, oh wait, and the land is dark. Hold on. That's not the... When the night... Shut up. Okay, hold on. When the... Okay. Technology, sometimes it gets in the... I'm in the wrong... That's the finished product. I have the music. Let's see. Hold on. Where am I? Just give me a second. Technical dip.
No
Here,
problem, no problem.
here we go. Do I have it in here? Oh, I don't have it. That's right. Okay, I'll do a different song. That we'll do next time. I didn't carry it over. Let's do this one. This is I love this song. It's based on a Vedic mantra. Tamasi ma jyotir gama. Come out of the darkness and into the light. Of course, rock style. Okay. Come out of the darkness and into the light. You know you're in Maya. Get up and fight and admit to yourself what you're doing ain't right. Surrender to Krishna with all of your might. This world is just like a desert. Not even one drop of water I can find. Although I try so very hard, I just can't achieve peace of mind. So don't play with life, it's not a game. Slay with the knife of God's holy name. You want to enjoy, but haven't you learned? Heaven can't be bought, it has to be earned. It has to be earned. It has to be earned. Now come out of the darkness and into the light. The man in the mirror is to blame for my plight. Chant Hare Krishna with all of your might. And always remember that to preach means to fight. Preaching is the essence. Guitar solo. Now don't play with life, it's not a game. Slay with the knife of God's holy name. You want to enjoy, but haven't you learned? Heaven can't be bought, it has to be earned. It has to be earned. It has to be earned. So come out of the darkness and into the light. You know you're in Maya. Get up and fight and admit to yourself what you're doing ain't right. Surrender to Krishna with all of your might. Not just admit to yourself what you're doing ain't right. Surrender to Krishna with all of your might. Not just admit to yourself what you're doing ain't right. Surrender to Krishna with all of your might. With all of your might. Surrender to Krishna with all of your might. Now we can all chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sing! Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very good. Keep going. Let's go. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ow! Oh! Yeah! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Follow, follow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. If you want to dance, get up and dance. Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, good Shraddha. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Play your mridanga. Very good, Mayur. Play that mridanga. Hare Krishna, ow! Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's it. Okay, so somebody says right here, where can we get a copy of his songs? Well, that's easy. I'm going to give you here my email address, Narantara can you see that there in the chat? My email address is there. Send me an email, and I'll send you via email like maybe 18 of my greatest hits. No charge, free of charge. So there's my email address. Write me an email, and then I'll send you 18 of my greatest hits. Okay, so now we